Dino. Let's hear from you, your experience at Niagara, Spark, and the K-12 educational system. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you for that amazing journey that you've taken so far. I think you're well on your way to a successful opportunity with the Community-Based Innovation Center. So if I can just take 3 minutes, 1 minute here, just to share the screen, I'd like to, if you allow me to share the screen, I'd like to just share about 4 slides as I speak to answering your question, if possible. And we'll give it a shot here. I don't know if everyone can see my screen right now, but we'll start from the beginning here. Can you see that, everyone, clearly? Yeah?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Okay, good. So let's start with exactly what everyone has been saying. An ecosystem, as everyone knows, is an environment where everything is interdependent to each other for it to grow. So one of the things I learned throughout many of the years of building these innovation centers connected to the community is you need to have 3 key pillars or 3 key players. What you mentioned was education. You have to have the community, which is the municipality, local government, the federal government. And then of course, the most important part is the businesses, because the businesses are what bring the economy up and also create jobs, allow you to create the funnel for the skill development of either entrepreneurs or talent. And when you have these 3 pillars running in a nice ecosystem, a prosperous community comes out of it. And that prosperous community also attracts talent worldwide. And today in this new economy of having, time zones on Zoom or Teams or Google Meet, what happens is you can create another ecosystem that actually balances with yours. The key that we learned in Niagara is that the formative years, the young generation in your home, the 4 and 5-year-olds, all the way to the 70 plus are very important in an innovation ecosystem. A lot of times we forget about the intergenerational information, the intergenerational knowledge, the tacit knowledge and experience that a 70-year-old may have compared to a 20-year-old. And those are what brings in your mentors, your coaches, experienced entrepreneurs, as well as an ex-educator, a scientist, whatever, into your innovation zone. The beauty is, and I'm going to give you an example, it's the mindset. You look at a 70-year-old who's close to my, like I'm a baby boomer, so I'm a 51 to 69-year-old in that range. I worry about how fast an ambulance can come here if my heart doesn't work well. Where a Generation Z in Niagara will say, I can't find the Wi-Fi. My battery is low on my iPhone. So you see the difference in mentality there, because they're all in the technology zone. I'm still in the old physical zone. But the beauty is, when you bring education together, as we did in Niagara, we have 12 cities under one municipality. Those 12 cities have a university and college and K-12 schools, French and English, but we work them together connected to Spark Niagara, the actual incubator. Bringing those 2 together allow you to then have the funnel for your entrepreneurship, allow for science, technology, engineering, and math programs to flourish, which in turn sends a beacon or a spike out to the rest of Nigeria. The second piece is working with the businesses, because you and I are creating startups and businesses so that these students can have a job someday, whether it's a doctor, an engineer, whatever. But the Innovation Center, when you work with education, business, and community, it builds bridges between all of those areas. And through technology and also tacit knowledge of the generations, the intergenerations, you get the strongest incubator that you can build. And the next piece would be looking at how do you do it now as a collaborative community. Well, then you mix business in the middle with the education, with the community, and it attracts the IBMs, the Microsofts of the world, all of the big companies will say, this collaboration is amazing. And the example I would use for Niagara is when they saw this collaboration, it was easy to find funding. I didn't have to go struggling. On the bottom right, you'll see there's 2 lakes where Niagara sits in next to the US border. We were able to create a free trade zone because of the collaboration so that we can go back and forth in this green area of Canada and this green area of the United States. But under the Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, there are 8 United States that we can now trade and work with in their universities, colleges, innovation centers, because they're tucked under those lakes and we are covered in this whole area. So again, the whole thing is creating the opportunities to create talent, create solutions to problems, bring community together. And the takeaways I want to give everyone, and I just don't want to take up too much time, is, and I'm hoping this will be of value and I'll share this, is a startup community can fuel regional and national economic success. And the example I'll give you in Niagara is we've been hit very hard with COVID-19 like everyone else. But what we've been able to do, we were very lucky. We lost accommodations and tourism, which we were strong in, 25,000 jobs. However, our manufacturing, our construction, and our agriculture are required necessities to continue moving the country forward or the region forward, and they picked up the slack to cover for the loss of those jobs. So Spark now becomes a skills development, skills attraction, and skills retention through entrepreneurship and also apprenticeship. The other thing is successful startup communities create an open, flexible culture that promotes idea sharing, movement of talent, and the give before you get. That's an amazing philosophy. Give first, right? Don't think about the ROI and you want to take right away. Give first because it creates a trust and a collaborative environment with your clients if you're a business scaling, or your mentor, your coach, your funding institution, or your innovation center. Also, startup communities build on their initial success as word spreads. Again, there's nothing better than somebody saying, I believe I had the best time at Ilorin because I got to learn something. I walked away with a feeling that I'm part of the community, and I was able to process and take time and be a participant. And then the best part of that, it goes down to entrepreneurs, and only entrepreneurs should lead a startup community. It shouldn't be the politicians. It shouldn't be driven by the money. It is you, the talent that's there in Nigeria. And the best part too is the community always is inclusive. I know that it takes a village to raise a child, we say in Canada. So share leadership and welcome new leaders. Don't be afraid of competition. It makes you stronger, right? It's like resistance, weightlifting. Startup communities can develop anywhere, but each is different and should be recognized for its own strengths. So if you don't have a strength in one place, don't try to overdo it and make it. Find a partner. Like Spark Niagara might be good in, let's say, blue water or green technologies. You might be great at artificial intelligence, IoT, coding. Why not create that joint venture together and make us stronger, just like the hand, right, with all the fingers. The other thing that I like about it is startup communities can develop anywhere, but each is different and should be recognized with its strengths, and the government and large businesses and universities must support those efforts. That's very key. They must support those efforts. You cannot do it without it. In my history, I grew up when the computer was just coming in. I got to meet the great people like Bill Gates, Michael Dell, Steve Jobs, as they were building those Apples and IBMs and all that. What I learned from them is that you have to be able to work together in order to generate a community, number one. Number two, what's really important is that you have to also be able to share some of your knowledge and share it back and forth up to a point without losing your intellectual property. And to generate mentoring and networking is really important. And it's exciting to know that you guys are doing that. You ladies and gents there are fantastic. I've seen just from this presentation so far that the community that you're offering is engaging. And I think you're ready to really have a moonshot, as we say in Canada. So I want to congratulate you on that. And I hope I've given you a little bit of information that you might be able to take away, a golden nugget or two to feel good and see what you can do with your great innovation space.
Thank you very much, Dino. Wow.